Hey friends, good morning. It's time for Daily Dose with Dr. Lazar. We're faced with a lot of situations that require our attention, maybe that require our response, that require our energy for sure. And so we could justify those situations and justify our responses by saying things like, um, by saying things. It doesn't look like my video's up. Let me see here. Just bear with me 1 second. If you're watching this, can you just post in the comments whether my video's up or not? It doesn't look like it is from my perspective. And not that, not that seeing me matters, but I want to make sure there's not a technical issue. So if you're watching this, can you just post in the comments for me whether you can see the video or not? It's up. Okay, great. Thank you, Therese. I appreciate it. All right, so um, anyway, we've got these situations where we respond to those, and oftentimes we'll justify our response. We'll say things like, "Yeah, well, if you were in my situation, you would understand." A business owner might say, "Look, if you understood what it was like to deal with the Paycheck Protection Program, hiring HR, dealing with the situation because people can't come back to work, but you need the help, but you don't want to hire somebody because the existing team can come back later." A business owner could say that. An employee in a company could say, "Dude, I don't want to hear it. I mean, really? You've got control over what's going on. I don't have any control. I got laid off. I got furloughed. My company, that's a stable company, has an unknown future, and we don't even know what's going on. So I really don't want to hear it because in my situation, I have all these stressors." And the point is, everybody can have their own position, and everybody thinks their situation is the worst and they think they're alone and that sort of thing. But Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, he was the author of, I think it was The Magic of Thinking Big. I can't think. Anyway, great book that he wrote. He talked about a trip that he took on a sailboat out east. And the skipper told him the ocean is a tremendous force and our ship is only a small force. Okay, got it. But we know how to make our little engines adapt themselves to the timing of the waves, so we are practically carried along by the sea. Now that's kind of cool because we don't have to, in that situation, we don't have to fight the sea. We don't have to fight the natural forces that are much bigger than we are. Sounds kind of similar to our life, right? Like the big waves are coming and that sort of thing. But then I got to thinking about this. Praying could be defined really as adjusting ourselves to the plans and timing of God. And so there's a story in 2 Kings when Sennacherib threatened Judah, the nation of Judah. And Hezekiah, his very first response in 2 Kings, I think it was chapter 19, his very first response was he went to God. Now that's pretty cool. And the cool thing about it from my perspective was there was a childlike simplicity to King Hezekiah's faith. I mean, imagine running a nation. See, right now, coronavirus isn't doing anything to us. Like, there's nobody that's intentionally targeting us. There's nobody that's saying, "I'm going to take your business down." There's nobody that's saying, "I'm going to crash your economy." I'm not, we think, right? But the point is, nobody's doing anything to us. Or if they are, it's not to the same extent that you're running a nation as a king and other nations are threatening your nation. I mean, that is a direct assault. Okay, so go with me on the context there. So King Hezekiah got this threatening letter that said, we're gonna take you down. You're gonna become our slaves. We're gonna crush you guys, right? I've never gotten a letter like that, and I don't know what I would do. And I just run a small practice, right? I mean, this is an entire nation. But his first response was he went to God and said, "Okay, what do we do about it?" That was his first response. And I think the same childlike faith should be ours in this modern world. Our frustrations, our anxieties, our fears, our worries about the economy and our health and our loved ones, and all of the very real fears and frustrations and anxieties in this modern world, in today's world, they're very real. But what would happen if we just went to God and spread them out in front of him and said, hey, what are we going to do about it? And so as we adjust our lives to God's plans, to his timing, we find that we're carried along by his power, just like the waves of the sea. You can't fight the waves of the sea, guys. You can't fight God's power. You can't fight his timing. And so this puts the highest use of the forces of our own lives to good use, because we're turning that over to God. We're laying it down. We're spreading it out. We're saying, okay, what do I do about this? And so I would encourage you today, if you're facing fear, uncertainty, anxiety, worry, doubt, concern, any of those things, you could, option number one, rely on your own strength. Now, we're fearfully and wonderfully made, so you've got a lot in there. And sometimes our issue is that we don't believe in how we were created enough, okay? But for the most part, if we're going and trying to do it with our own strength, with our own understanding, I guess I just never understood why we would do that. I do it all the time, by the way, like full disclosure, but I don't understand what that's about, because we have a creator of the universe, that says, hey man, I love you, I've got your back, what's bothering you? And with the way we live our lives, we're literally saying, hey, you know what, I got this. Thanks, but I got this. No worries. I'll take care of this myself. I don't need you. Right? I know I do that with the way I live my life, with the way I worry, with the way I lose sleep about stuff. My gosh, like I'm the guiltiest of all of us. But this reminder, I think, is real. And that's really what this is. I'm just sharing reminders that are happening. Something really, really cool. If you are an existing practice member at Lazar Spinal Care, or if you are a paid coaching client of ours, we're starting this Thursday, June 4th, we are launching our Full Potential weekly live coaching, where I'll be coaching our entire practice member base that's interested, and our clients, our coaching clients, where it's included in your care and it's included in your program. If you're not an existing practice member or you're not an existing coaching client, it's available for purchase as well. But we're going to be every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be meeting for a 30-minute Q&A session, maximize your potential session, get the most out of your care. But it's really designed for it to be an interactive, hey, I've got a question. This is something I'm dealing with in my practice. This is something I'm dealing with in my home, my life, my business. And the two cool benefits are going to be, number one, we can game plan together, and the game planning with your situations will help other people that are on the webinar, on the virtual meeting. The second thing that it's going to do is, I've seen over and over again, when like-minded people get together, really cool stuff happens. And there may be people in the group, and you say, hey, I'm having a hard time with getting my basement finished and my contractor is not showing up. Well, if there's a contractor in the group on our call, you might be able to connect with some new people and really just grow your potential, grow your impact. So that's launching June 4th. I will post a link in the comments here, but please register for that so we know how to prepare. When you're facing a situation, take it to God and say, okay, what do we do about it? And let your surrender of your small engine surrender to the major power, the metaphor of the waves of the sea, and let the sea carry you, and you just put on your engine at the exact right time, which really means take it to God and listen to what he has to say. This has been Daily Dose with Dr. Lazar. I'll be back tomorrow. If you have any questions or comments, please post them in the feed. I'll do my best to answer those. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you back tomorrow.